speaker. He's speaking tonight on reinvention, turning loss into success. Please help me welcome David Abramowitz.
How often have you heard a voice in your head that says, I am not on the right track? Maybe you've heard a question asking you if the hole you've fallen into, you cannot get out of. How many are simply hearing voices? That's another speech. I want you to know that I have asked myself these questions many times. I have been through a transformative experience, one I want to share with you, and from my learning, I want to help you. When I was 3 years old, my successful 33-year-old father attorney went down in a plane. Just like that, poof, he was gone. My mother took me and my 5-year-old sister to Israel. It was there in Jerusalem that for a temporary moment, we got separated from my mother. And on the dusty streets of the old city, my sister turned to me and said, David, we'll never see Mom again. You need to be scared. That was fear, that was loss. But in an extraordinary way, that was the beginning of a series of events of losing, surviving, and eventually succeeding that became the story of my life. As I was young, I began to develop a sense of humor in order to help the family survive. Even when I was told I was going to be an attorney like my father, I made a joke. I was like 6 years old. I ran into my mother's room and I said, Mom, I can't be an attorney. She looked at me, she looked up from her book and she said, why not? And I said, Mom, because I can't read. I went on to achieve what seemed like great success. I graduated from a top business school and a top law school. And following not my own dream, went into the practice of law. There, rather than success, I felt a certain loss of self. It was at that point I reinvented myself as a trader. Surprisingly, I loved it. With hard work and a passion drive, in 3 years I went from having nothing to having nearly $1 million in my personal account. I was fulfilled, my job felt like a hobby. But if that was the end of the story, I wouldn't be up here right now. There was more learning that needed to be done. When the market got bad, I lost it all, down to a mortgage apartment here in Manhattan. That was tough. Years later, I lost my marriage. That was really tough. But do I want you to feel sorry for me? No, not at all. Why not? Because reinvention has helped me figure out who I am and has had a profound effect on myself, and I believe it can work for you as well. I consciously reinvented myself over the course of my life to discover how loss could be a trigger to discovering success. By the way, that $1 million that I lost a few years ago, did I wallow in that hole that I had created? Well, maybe a little bit. The message was for me to recreate once again, rediscover and reinvent once again. I went to my passion for humor and tried my hand at stand-up comedy. My spirit was re-energized. Just as that passion began to flourish, the market called me back, and I was more successful trading than I had ever been. And you know what? I never thought I'd say this, but the message there was that everybody should have a chance to lose it all once. The notation there is that you did it. You can do it again. I know, I did it, and I thank God for that. Many of you have heard that voice that says, with all of the achievements I've had, I'm not fulfilled enough. And some of you are asking for a better answer. I know that if you take the time to find out what's blocking you from contentment, you'll find your way. I've learned a lot about loss and success on my journey. I followed my passion into trading and onto the stages of comedy. I hope that you will find your journey. I know that by finding your passions and by doing things you've never done, that there is a wonderful world out there of abundance and entertainment that is there for you. Are you ready? Your reinvention awaits. Thank you very much.
This is the first time you've done this?
I was on comedy.
Yeah, the first time. This is your first time doing this kind of speech? This is pretty cool. Let me ask you, this is a 3-button suit?
Free without a button, oy vey.
Oy vey indeed. A 3-button suit.
Example of loss.
Is that you Because the rap is for men, if it's a 3-button suit, you button the first 2 or just the middle one.
Or like this.
Or like But he looks great, right? I mean, he really does. I thought some nice stuff here. You know, David has a lot of passion, funny at moments. The speech itself needs typing, but it's gutsy. The theme for me, turning loss into success. That's the through line. Stay with that. Turning loss into success. There are moments that the comedy works because it gets us there, and at moments, I'm not sure where you're going with it. You know, it got a little too, I'm not sure. And your pattern is that when you come forward and then you move back. You come forward and you move back. Get yourself grounded, redirect, and really connect with us with your eyes. Leave your feet alone. It's ironic because I was sitting and I was watching. Every once in a while, it's your left foot. You go up like this, showing this. You were talking Israel, kind of interesting, and they did this. In the Middle East, if you did this, it's very disrespectful in the Middle East. And you said Israel right after. Keep your feet grounded. Middle East, you show the sole of your foot, it's like going like that. So be aware of that. Just doesn't get yourself grounded. Oh, I thought there was some nice, you have some nice moments. Your comedy is there. This thing needs, I'd like to hear it again. I'd like to see it and tighten little things here and there. This whole idea of reinvent yourself, rediscover yourself, that's the theme as well. But I would keep repeating, turn loss into success. How many of you, I mean, even as rhetorical, this is about you. Come up forward, ask us, how many of you have had some loss in your life? Anybody? How can we turn it into success? One way is blah, blah, blah. The other is toward the end, you're getting into trouble, like where am I going with this? Go to so. Have so in your back pocket. He was at the end, he wasn't sure how. So, to summarize, turn loss into success. Thank you very much. You know, when you get into trouble, go to the end. So to summarize, turn loss into success. Have that in your back pocket. Otherwise, nice job.
David, blew me away. There is so much profundity in this talk and the lesson that you had to give to us. And I felt it really was a gift, didn't you?
Yeah.
To share, I mean, starting with losing your dad at the age of 3 and your mom in front of the Wailing Wall, something to wail about, and your button, and making happy endings by reinvention. Excellent, excellent. I can't wait until this seasons a little longer. I kind of agree with Robert, it needs to be more succinct. You need to get to the point and then show us another example, get to the point. Find somebody else's story to tell us maybe once in a while. but there is great profundity here and a really valuable speech and a lesson for your audiences. So what are you going to see on the video? You are going to see a dance. You are going to see never standing still. And you got to learn the power of stillness. That speakers always say, I want my audience to see me as confident. So what does confident look like? Well, confident is not a dance with your hands in the kangaroo arms position. You know, this doesn't. You know, so you need to essentially say to your audience, I'm not afraid of you. Take your best shot. If you want them to trust you, you got to trust them. Okay? Don't throw anything at me, please. I'll be done. I think when you've done that and honed the speech, got a little more succinct, you're going to be a pro, man. This is great.
I'm so glad we wrote that one because it gave me a chance to just look at you up close. Nice, handsome, right? Tall, owns the room. It's yours to lose. You have everything going for you. You're dressed like a rosy, successful man, counselor. Love it. The voice is great. I can't believe this is your first speech. It's wonderful. My brother did a movie that said dying is easy, comedy is hard.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
True.
So a lot of Jews have become comedians out of the sense of loss and pain. And I think a lot of that probably promoted you into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily agree that there was too much comedy. I love it. As a matter of fact, I would have liked you to end it with something a little bit more light, a little more comedic. Because I thought whatever you did that was funny, because it was pathos, and then you allowed us to laugh. You gave us pain, and then you allowed us to laugh. And that's what we need in a speech. So the fact that I love also that everyone should lose it all at least once. And I agree with Robert when he said, or Michael, whoever asked to say, someone out here, everyone out here has had loss, right? It doesn't have to be money. You could have lost a relative, a friend, a child. And this, what do you do? How do you come back from something like that? So to make it that it's not just about money, about losing all your money. It's also about loss and pain. And how do you bounce back from that? You used comedy, and then you went back and became successful again on Wall Street, which is wonderful. So you're going to pay us all before you leave, right? No? Okay. I love the speech. I really did. Tighten it up.